Bells just offers a little bit more seclusion, and the rock is just as beautiful, this gorgeous, steep, glacially carved canyon. So what's not to like? If you're ready for some adventure and you've got a day to burn, Bells Canyon awaits. You can't just make something as arbitrary as rock climbing have great meaning without a lot of time invested into it. So building a relationship with a route that has a stiff entry fee, you know, a big hike and a lot of unknowns because it hadn't seen a repeat for 9 years. And it all just adds to the richness of the experience. It's not just I'm going here to have done this. It's I'm going into this destination route to have the experience of climbing it. And I've earned the right to climb it because there's a complicated entry fee for it. And that's way more meaningful. Like, you get out of things what you put into them.
My name is Bagha'an. I'm a product design engineer at Black Diamond. I'm really inspired by large free routes, whether on El Cap or down in Zion, and to climb those routes you need to be a good all-around climber. So I've been driven to try to climb these hard Wasatch routes, specifically as my home practice ground.
Completely solid guy, incredibly capable, very good technical climber, very intelligent. Yeah, Brent, the hard Bagha'an. Yeah, he's next level. Definitely the best granite climber to come out of the Wasatch. It's kind of unfair. There's an expression that says the good Lord doesn't give with two hands, but I think he screwed up with Brent.
So I decided to go for a ground-up flash attempt, partly by logistical constraints, because this is a south-facing wall that has about a 90-minute hike. And so as a weekend warrior, I only can really do this early mornings. You do some technical stemming with low gear behind some dubious flakes. From there, do a little layback boulder problem that's has some funky backstepping into this hand pod, and then some smearing outright, and just do like a quick few power layback moves, and then reach up to this hole that's facing the wrong direction and just stand up into it. And then from there, you're at the rest jug. So then coming into the crux, you end up having to do a few semi-tenuous undercling shuffle moves. The footholds just fully drop away. The slab goes overhung for your feet, and you have to throw switching underclings up into this really bad sloper.
Everybody liked to talk about how much they wanted to climb it, but nobody really wanted to climb it. So I came up with this idea that I would tell select people that if it wasn't climbed in 10 years, it was going to get a couple extra bolts added to it. And, you know, I'm super pleased to see that that seems to have motivated people at the 11th hour here to get out and red point it. So good job.
Nice, Brent. Come on, man. Yeah, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, I'm with you. Nice, Brent.
After you stick the crux move, you step down to a slightly better foot and a hand jam, and regroup for a moment before doing some, a crux exit. It's still a little bit hard, involves some bad crimps and some low feet that you have to rock up over to.
Fuck. Oops, stuck.
So after the first crux, you get to a pretty decent stance, this little alcove, and you actually put in a few pieces, build a little mini anchor.
Okay, I'll play on orange.
And then switch ropes. You clip your second rope into the anchor, and then drop your previous rope actually. So from here, the anchor that you made is up under this roof. You do this cool kind of modern comp style boulder problem where you pop out to the lip and then you actually tow hook the hole that you just grabbed. And there's not really any footholds or easy way to release it. You just end up cutting your feet and holding the swing.
Up. Yeah, nice. Come on, stay with it.
Up.
Should have some sunscreen, Ben?
So as you get to the corner here, it's pretty much pinched down except for this few centimeter wide flared pockets. You end up getting a 000 per Brad's original topo, and then I actually figured out you could slot a 0.1, 0.2 next to it in this section that looks kind of flared, but the cam actually sits pretty well. So the new narrow head Z4s are great for that.
Okay, hey, I've got gear in. Pretty decent. I still keep slack minimal.
So yeah, I ended up working the crux only ground up, but had swung around. I just wanted to know what those upper moves were like. I just lowered in, climbed out, but I thought it was within reason and just didn't really want to put the time in to necessarily dialing in the exact gear. I thought it would be just fine. So then on the go, I was kind of re-onsiding a bit. It ended up being more stressful than I was expecting in that the climbing just feels really insecure. Yes, that's kind of funny as you get into those friction moves because the gear's at your hip, but you still feel really scared because it's 2 microcams in this single bottomed out pocket. So if you do fall in these friction moves, you might take a 6-foot fall and just super anticlimactically run down the slab a few feet, or you might start that fall and then hear the horrific pop, and if the gear did pull, you'd be going for a really long ride close to the ground. You probably hit the ground. It's fucked up. Then you get this thank God finger lock, the first real hold since you pulled over that roof boulder. You've got good gear, you're not gonna hit the ground. You can just flow through the next part of the corner and run it out again. So then you encounter one last little roof traverse, and this part's not too bad, but you could definitely fall here. Stand on this bad foothold and kind of pop over to the lip, just this like slopey edge, and then press out a really cool mantle to finish out the last of the technical climbing.
Hell yeah, dude. I rang it. Oh, dude, in the sun. Fucking sweaty. How'd it feel?
Felt pretty sick. Besides the sweat factor. Just had to go so slow to not build sweat up for those insecure holds.
Was that like tech section the...
That was just straight up scary. Yeah. Those pieces are pretty good, but there's no holds. They're just like palming, doing like weird granite trickery with bad gear. It's either G if the gear holds or like X if it doesn't hold. Huh.
The statute of limitations is expired. The deal is no longer on. It's been repeated in 9 years. So the route is and will remain a trad climb. No added bolts.